Hello, Panther and Panther families. We wanted to take some time to create a slideshow and video to provide information about the upcoming MacKenzie Center field trip. The purpose of the trip is to give students a hands-on experience and do some activities that the classroom can't provide. And we're going to be looking at 3 local ecosystems and how abiotic and biotic factors create a diverse native environment. The night before the trip, the students should be checking the weather so they understand what they need to prepare for the next day. They should be bringing a pair of boots or older shoes as we'll be outside hiking all day. They're going to want a jacket along with warm clothing like hats and gloves so they're comfortable during the day. Students are going to want to bring a reusable water bottle so they have access to water. We will have a filling station that students can refill their water bottle if needed. And students are going to want to bring a small gym bag, like a string bag, so they have a place to store their water bottle and extra clothing. Students are going to want to pack a large lunch and include their name on that lunch. And students are going to be very, very hungry. They're going to be hiking and outside all day, so they're encouraged to bring extra food. Finally, students should prepare any donations they're going to bring. Students may bring items for s'mores, like chocolate, graham crackers, or marshmallows, or fruits like bags of apples, pears, tangerines, or bananas. The morning of the trip, students should take some time and make sure they've gathered all their items they need for the trip. And as they get to school, they should report to their homeroom where they're going to turn in their labeled lunch. At that time, teachers will be taking attendance and waiting for the group to be ready to head down to the buses. And students who need a school lunch, they can pick that up on the way to the bus. Students are allowed to bring cell phones, but we do have some expectations for that. The cell phones can be used on the bus, but once we're at the MacKenzie Center, they can only use them for photos. So no social media, no texting, no gaming, and they should be asking their friends and other people to before they take pictures of them. If they're being used inappropriately, we'll be handing them over to teachers, and we will return those when we get back to school. Students are responsible for their phone, so if it gets lost or stolen, they have to think about that before they bring it. And the bottom line is they need to be responsible and respectful with the electronic device. And from the parent perspective, if your student's bringing their cell phone, you should have a conversation with them before they bring it the day of the trip, so the students know your expectations along with the teacher expectations. Talking about the trip, the purpose of the trip is to learn about ecosystems. That's our main focus. While on the trip, students should respect others, all the adults, classmates during the day. Students should be focused on making the trip enjoyable for themselves and everyone else involved. Students are going to need to stay in their group. We ask that students take time to be nice to the animals, and we're not going to litter, including the fruit that they get for snacks. And on the bus, we're looking for appropriate bus behavior. Students should stay seated and keep their hands to themselves. And students should just enjoy being outside for the day. Chaperones, first of all, we want to say thank you. We could not do the trip without you. As a chaperone, you'll report to your child's homeroom in the morning. Once there, you'll get some information, and then you can either drive yourself or ride the bus. It's your choice. And you'll be either part of or lead a group, and your job is to keep that group together and make sure there's no major problems. If there are any major problems, you can find a teacher as soon as possible to take care of that. And throughout the day, if you have any questions, just please ask us. We'll do our best to communicate the information to you. But if you have any questions, you could definitely ask a teacher. We do have 2 different schedules, one for House 7A and B, and another one for 7C, D, and E. 7A and B are going together, and it's going to be a little bit of a larger group, so they have a little bit of a different schedule. So you can kind of take a look at the schedule so students and chaperones, where you're going to be and when. During the day, students will have a chance to visit 4 different breakout groups. Each one will be about an hour long. Those 4 breakout groups include archery, fire tower and wildlife area. There's a small wildlife zoo, lodging and woodcutting, and then finally animal tracking and hiking, led by our outdoor expert, Mr. Smith. Lunch, we'll be having a lunch. At lunch, we're going to remind students not to mess with other people's lunches and to clean up after themselves. And then after our lunch, we'll have a little bit of a campfire and s'mores. We'll be talking a little bit about campfire safety. And when getting the s'mores, students will just need to be patient. So a lot of kids, we got to make a lot of s'mores. They'll just have to be a little bit patient waiting for their treat. During the day, we'll spend some time geocaching, and if you're in 7A or B, you'll play a game called Oh Deer. Geocaching is a GPS tracking game, and Oh Deer is a game that focuses on food webs within the ecosystems. Cleaning up. At the end of the day, we'll be taking some time to clean up the lodge and the surrounding areas. To make this easier, we're going to be reminding students to keep everything as clean as possible during the day, so there's less to clean up at the end. No littering. If you see litter, pick it up, even if it isn't yours. And I like the quote off to the right from Bill Nye, to leave the world better than you found it, sometimes you have to pick up other people's trash. So there might even be stuff there from groups that have been there before us. So take some time, and we're going to leave the MacKenzie Center nice and clean. Finally, let's just take some time to review. Students should pack a large lunch and bring a water bottle. They should be gathering some warm clothing so they're comfortable during the day. Our behavior is going to focus on these three things: being safe, being respectful, and being responsible. Cell phones are allowed on the trip, but parents and teachers will be having conversations with them about expectations. Students should come ready to learn for the outdoors. And finally, students should represent Patrick Marsh in a positive way, whether it be on the bus or on the field trip or on the way home. Parents, students, teachers, if you have any questions, you can definitely ask your science teacher, and we'll provide as much information as we can. And we're going to have a great day at the MacKenzie Center trip.